Good morning and welcome back. My name is Tuxedo Ian. We are getting back into our playthrough of Book of Hours. This is going to be video number 45 in our series. We have reached the end of summer and we are about to transition into fall. So let's see what we're going to have happen today. So last time we did manage to read another Newman book, and we managed to get Edicts Inviolable all the way up to level 9. So we will basically have no trouble reading anything that is heart aspect at this point. So before our weather kicks in, just in case we have Numa about to visit, I will grab Mr. Kill. Nope, we have a normal season because an affair is triggering. Oh, and we get our delivery from TR Unlimited. Something delightful has arrived. It has something squashy, and something rattly. Mr. Kill can always spare a few hours to help a friend. So we'll start off by giving Mr. Kill a... let's see, do we want to use him for winter or do we want to use him for sky? We can do winter there, winter there, winter there. Winter 12 we need. So we can get that started. So we can give him the Solomon's Preparation to get him to 6 winter. And while that is working, we can come over to the phonograph, Edicts Marshal, and actually we can, instead of a tryst, we can just use a core to make an old wound, and then we can use that old wound to turn that into a Wormwood Dream to give him 6 more points of winter, which will get him to 12, which will be enough to open up this Wormnod kitchen. So we'll also open up this package from TR Unlimited. Unwrap, unbox, unleash. And we'll clean up our shelves here just a bit. We'll put the Cinnabar down here because that's not something we can cook with. We'll put our cooked dishes up on the shelves up here, or up on the table up here just for storage purposes. Keeper level 4, Iotic Essence is the precursor to the Great Ink called Orpiment Exultant. With Keeper Levered Lantern, it can become Xanthotic Essence instead. So to make another Orpiment, we're going to need another Foresight. So we can get started on that. See, is there somewhere we can put these? Yeah, we can set them right here in the kitchen. Right. Down to the Grushians. This has boosted their aspects appropriately. We'll just talk with him and see if he can give what kind of memories he can give us while we're waiting for the other memories to process. So 2 minutes left on hatching whatever this is. An outsized egg. Ostrich egg, crocodile egg? Surely it's neither. So we get a new order form. We got 5 pheasants. So let's see. We're going to need plenty of room for those. So what we'll do, we'll take our glasses and put them back in the librarian's quarters. And we'll take our extra our extra fife, put it here in the librarian's quarters. We have 4 pheasants. We have 5 pheasants. We have 5 beef. Roast it or perhaps marinate it first if you have something intoxicating for the marinade. And pheasant, roast it or add butter if you intend to jug it. And we have 2 batches of almonds. So let's see, the Iotic Essence, we'll put this down here in the forge because we can use the forge to make Orpiment Exultant. And we have 2 things of almonds. Add sugar and spice to make jumble. But just by itself, we can just put the almonds on our shelf here. That's our mixes shelf there. We can put this honey. Let's see, we can stick the honey up here. There we go. Phosphorescent scrapings. That's not food. We'll put it over here in the servants' quarters. Neither is rose pearl. And essential perios. That's not food either. So let's see. We can grab this pheasant here. And we can actually go ahead and we can roast it. Roast a pheasant, a dish with forge, heart, rose, scale, and sky. So that satisfies a lot of different people. We have Mademoiselle Olympe Bichet, essayist, illustrator, critic, editor of the Karashim Review. And, oh, very nice. So she is someone who will be able to teach us Ramsund. But first we have to interest her. We have to teach her something. She's going to be looking for information on Forge. Because our incident wants Forge or Sky. Well, dead men don't tell no bloody tales. Well, who listen? Okay, well, he gave us our foresight early, so we can go ahead and get started with our orpiment. Yep, so we can make orpiment with Edberry and Lapidary, and we can also make it with Transfigurations and Liberations. So we'll just go ahead and use Edberry and Lapidary. Transform the essence into the Encostum Terminal Orpiment Exultant. Edberry and Lapidary with Keepa level Forge plus Iotic Essence creates Orpiment Exultant. Got that done. There is our old wound. So now we can apply Edicts Martial, the old wound, and a tryst, and we can make a Wormwood Dream for Mr. Kill. So that will take 1.5 minutes, so we can go ahead and get started with Mademoiselle Olympe. The pleasure is all mine, Librarian. You've heard about poor Zuthi's death. I knew him in Algiers long ago. He was so sweet, and even then I knew he would make a very great talent. You need something with Forge. The government will sell that wonderful piece of Zuthi's for scrap. I know it, but I have a collector in mind, a very wealthy woman. I hope to convince her to invest in it, but I need to understand better the properties of the work. So I need a book with Mystery Forge. Luckily, we have several of those. So we can let her read Old Copper-Nose and the Softer Metal, the same one we gave to Magister Huckabald. This may be enough. I hope that will be enough. Thank you, Librarian. And then when that's done, our memory for Mr. Kill should be ready. And then we can call her back and have her teach us Ramsund so we can read this book on the Winding Stair. There is our Wind in Waiting, or Ascendant Harmony, rather. So we can then do the Ascendant Harmony. We can do our 2 fifes. And we can apply strings and Strings and Songs makes a Wind in Waiting. And so there's another foresight for us, so we can make another ornament, because we do have another iotic essence sitting about over here. Actually, we have 2. So we'll move those down to our forge so we know that we have them. Making ink in a forge, who would have thought? Could also make it at the alchemist's. Actually, now that we have that foresight, we can come up here to the alchemist's workbench. We can apply the foresight, we can apply a metal, and we can apply transformations and liberations. And make another orpiment exultant. That will give us 1 to read that other forge book we have, and 1 for keeping for spare. And there's our delivery from Cater and Hero. Something useful has arrived. Something firm, something sloshy, something powdery, and something squishy. Unwrap, unbox, unleash. So this, we're going to have to find a place to put all of this stuff. So we have 2 empty shelves here. We have several spaces here. Let's make some room. Move our vegetable bags up here. We'll move our slow gin. Let's see, where can we put this that would be more useful? Actually, let's move this labyrinthic tincture, because we don't need it right now. We can just set it on the desk here. We can put our slow gin in the kitchen. All right. Set our flowers there on the mantelpiece. We have finished roasting a pheasant. Roast pheasant, best when roasted upside down to start, but turned right way up before the end. 2 heart, rose, scale, sky, and forge. So that would feed... that would work for quite a lot of different guests at this point. And for reference, Mademoiselle Olympe likes forge food and drink. She knows Phrygian, Greek, Latin, and Ramsund. So 30 seconds left on our Wormwood Dream that we can feed to Mr. Kill. Okay, so Mademoiselle Olympe has been satisfied. She's given us a bronze spin trio. At Hush House, Mademoiselle Bichet learnt enough. She hoped to persuade a wealthy patroness to purchase the unfinished lark and save it from being sold for scrap by the authorities. So we've gained Olympe's card. So before we use that, we want to use this occult scrap for something. We have a new order form. So we have 5 bags of sugar. Cream it with butter in a mixing bowl. Add almonds and spices for jumble. Or with an egg, a bowl, and care, you can make meringue. So let's see, we have a shelf right here we can put 5 bags of sugar on. And we have 5 bottles of milk. Mix it in a bowl with flour to make dough, or pour over meringue for a sweet dish celebrated at Claridge's. See, we have a shelf here. We can make this our milk shelf. See, can we put these pilchards? Will they fit on the... Yep, they'll fit right there on the end. We have 5 bags of flour, pulverized grains, bread's precursor. Mix with butter or milk for dough. Mix with water for batter. A little bigger than bags of sugar, but we can fit them on the shelf there. And we can fit one more with the milk. And then we have butter. Try adding an egg or a pheasant. Mix with sugar or flour in a bowl, or the culinary intrepid might add spice and molly. So we do have some molly that we gathered back during Numa. So we will take that suggestion. The culinary intrepid might add spice and molly. So we add molly and butter, soul fragment, and then we need skill. So we could either have we have a choice here. We can either use spices and savors, or you'll notice it has spicing, and this also lights up the spice scales, redolent of decades of piquant passage. So we can add the spice scales, and as you can see, there are several recipes that need spicing here. So we can cook molly au jus, a dish with heart, moon, moth, nectar, and scale. So we'll get started on that. And we can put the grapes back up here and have an entire empty shelf there. So we'll move, we have another bag of vegetables here we can put down over here. And whatever this is about to hatch. There's our wormwood dream. Let's hope it is equally possible to forget this again. And then we'll immediately take that and give it to Mr. Kill, which will get him up to 12 winter. So he can open up this other kitchen over here, which will give us a second place where we can do cooking. New life! A living relic. Few of these have been seen in the world under this sun. So it's heart, 4 scale, and 2 sky. It's also a beast, a comfort, and it's cooperative for now. My, what a hiss. So we can put this here in our pantry, or we're actually most likely going to need it. We can put it here. Or not. Let's see. Can we put it anywhere here in the alchemy lab? Nope, there's a chair there. There's a chair there. Oh, there's a space there for it. Alright. So let's see. Is there any way we can put these hams or these beef and the pheasants? We have beeswax. This can go over here because that's not food. So we'll put. We can fit 2 pheasants on the shelves there. We can fit another one up here. And another one down over here. So we can take one of those butters and use it to make a jug pheasant with butter. We can use the flour to mix it with milk to make dough or butter. Mix it with water if we want batter. It is autumn now, so we can't harvest from the grapevines. We could harvest from the vegetable gardens, though. We can also take one of these sides of beef, and we can either roast it or marinate it. If we have something intoxicating. Well, we've got plenty of intoxicating beverages. Alright, so there's Mr. Kill completed. So we will assign him to clean up the kitchen over here. This kitchen has clearly been penetrated and polluted by worms, the parasites of the sun. The worms are long gone, but the kitchen will need scouring. It will need decontaminating, and then it will definitely need all its food throwing out, even if it's tinned. And there is our next bottle of Orpiment Exultant. And our bottle up here should just be done in a few seconds. Molly au jus. This has been called moth but delicious. But perhaps we all will be in the end. We can put that on our table here. And that serves as a first course and a side dish. Roast pheasant is a main course. So poire Berlin is a pudding. So right together, those three together serve as a full meal. So let's see. Let's go see what we can find on the sands here now that it's autumn time. What has the sea seeded today? And we will also go wandering out on the moor. Clamber up onto the long reaches of the moors behind the village. Lean into the wind's fluttering fist. If I know what to look for, I might find something amongst the rocks. So we can use a fet, and we can use crack track. Or we can actually use coil and chasm, because we need nectar, or scale. The last leaves toss and scatter. What we'll find there, who knows? Okay, our wind and waiting is just about done. One last pipe shrill, and the wind is still. Alright, so let's see. We were going to read this Nin's Cages book. So we need a heart desk, which will be this one down here. The Merciful Measures of the Witch Nin. So it is written in Ericapean, so we apply that. Then we need the Soul's Labors, so we're going to need 16 heart for this. So that gets us 10. Core gets us to 12. And we just need a memory, which we can do. We can reread this one because this Newman will give us 5. And that will be enough to read Nin's Cages. And there's our second bottle of Orpiment. We could use one of those to read it as well, but why use an encostum when we don't need to? However, we will need the encostum in order to read that other forge book, so that's what we'll use one of those bottles for. So we have My Deeds, My Powers, My Achievements, and the Injustices Perpetrated Against Me. A diatribe by Hockabald of Poxent, formerly of the Order of Immortals called the House of Lethe, later the Order of Limay, much later the Obliviates. He has scores to settle. This is written in Deep Mandaic, so we need to apply that. So we have 9 of 16. We can apply Transformations and Liberations, which gets us to 15. And we can apply a Shapt, which gets us to 16. I can master this mystery, forge the kindled flame. This will give us some more lessons on transformations and liberations. Grail is going to be quite a ways to go, though. So let's see. Now that our fire is free, we can take a side of beef. And then we need something intoxicating. So we have a glass of Roscragan whiskey over here already. An ingredient for a higher purpose by marinating a joint of beef. This is also the main reason I wanted to get over here, because this gives us another kitchen that we'll be able to cook 2 things at once, rather than have to wait on one at a time. Let's see, for tomorrow... So 15 sky. So we would get 6, 7, 8, 9 from the fife. $10 from his innate, so we need to find 5 more. We could get 2 from this here, so that would get us... Yeah, 6 plus 3 plus 1 plus 2 is 12, so we need 3 more. However, I don't think we can find 3 more in a food. Because even the roast pheasant only gives us 1 sky. So we might have to wait until we can find something else to do to get that one open. Alright, so our jail kitchen is open. There are no hours at Brankrug, callers used to say, even before he was governor of Brankrug jail, when he was only secretary vigilant of the Curia. By way of reminder, the hands were confiscated from every timepiece within the prison walls. The warders could still rely on the chimes of the great clock in the abbey spire, but it did make life harder for the cooks. So we have a pitcher of mist-kissed water. The faintest of vapors still ghosts the water's surface. So this is just isle water, but it's drawn during Numa, and it gives moon, winter, heart, and knock. We have some elderflower cordial, wrung from sweet white flowers. A bottle of Eigengrau, if Graydon oil were drinkable. Some more blackberry jam and rosehip jam. Another packet of flour. Another set of kitchen bowls. Some cuckoo honey. Some regular honey. Another skin shuck mead. So that will be helpful with the barbers if we need them. Another labyrinthic tincture. A much more potent preparation can be extracted from the remains of a labite, but labites generally frown on this technique. A half pot of Dawn-lined coffee, and another tin of pickled pilchards. Plus, we have the kitchen range jail. The food served in Brankrug jail was unexpectedly hearty and tasty, in keeping with Collar's more humane theories of rehabilitation. This kitchen range allows us to use scale, lanterned, nectar, or grail. And this has also opened up the ravaged cellar. This room, too, has been visited by worms, the abomination of the relict kind, but almost no traces remain. 13 forge, 13 scale, or 13 winter. So that's something we can definitely get Mr. Kill on tomorrow. So we will need another Solomon's preparation, which we already have made. And we'll need another Wormwood Dream, so we can get started on that. And we can make a labyrinthic tincture with this. Focus my own and local resources to create a small quantity of stable edge ingredient. Edix Marshall with Prentice level edge creates labyrinthic tincture. For a scholar level recipe, if I crush a suitable leaf into the brew, it'll make a dangerous ink. So we'll make an old wound. So that's a way that we can make the Perincula ink that we've seen up here. That's the only one that's noted as being dangerous, deadly. Use gloves to read text produced with this pigment. So Edix Marshall with 10 edge and a leaf makes Perinculate. So let's see, what can we use this occult scrap for? Knock, moth, or rose. Let's see. I think we can take that. So we'll take that and we'll apply. Because we do have something else we can do with rose here. We can do pearl and tide. And then we can add a fet. And we can make an enduring reflection. Pearl and tide with scholar level rose plus a memory creates enduring reflection. So this will take this knock moth rose and turn it into a pure rose. And also we can see that Pearl and Tide can make that SML if we can conjure up 10 moon with it. But we can do that. And then we can take Madame Olympe's card. And our address book. We can note down her address. The Kerisham Review, Plover Street, Kerisham. She expresses interest in Forge and Moth books and affairs and likes Forge food and drink. Alright, and we will also note for her, we need 3 Moth from Skills, Memories, Inks, or something else in order to write to her. So we can look here and see what can we do that has Moth. We can apply Edict's Liminal and our typewriter. And we can request Olim's presence so she can come back and teach us about how to read Ramsund. So there's our Newman. So we will grab Nin's cages here. Now we apply that. We apply Edict's Inviolable. And we apply Ericapaean. And a core. Heart onwards, I can master this mystery. And this will teach us 3 lessons of quenchings and quellings. Alright, so there's our first segment of Hokebald's Rants and Raves. Okay, so we have that written, so we'll go ahead and post that so we can get her and get started on learning how to read that. Stamp, envelope, send. Postmistress examines the letter and deems it sufficient. It'll go with the next post, she assures me. Marinated beef, uncooked, taggy with the harbingers of a roastful destiny. So now we can roast that joint of beef, and we can make a dish with edge, forge, grail, heart, and scale. Okay, night has fallen, so we can dream on our old moment now to keep it preserved for tomorrow. We have found a granite slab, long cold volcano blood. And we also found some sand. An hourglass, of course, is sand contained by sand. And now night has fallen, so we cannot do any more gathering for now. So let's see, where can we put this slab of granite? We can put it here in the forge for now. Because it has forge and scale aspects. It is a material and it is stone. Ye who seek patience, here's your tutor. We will speed this up a little bit. Should be finished reading Hokebald's book just before dawn. So there's our old wound. So we can apply Edict's Martial and the old wound, which gets, and then we just need a single piece of moon, which would come from a tryst. We'll have to wait for tomorrow for that because our trysts are exhausted. Hokebald boasts of his royal descent and insists that the magic of the forge are more effective when practiced by those of noble blood. Poxond complains of his condemnation by the Ordo Leme. He acknowledges that he has undergone alterations after the consummation of that particular delight, but insists that these changes are both elegant and inevitable. Who is the fire and who the fuel, he asks rhetorically. So you have 3 lessons in transformations and liberations and a memory of foresight. So we can then take this and apply a mark to mark it with memory foresight. And we can put this, since our shelf here is starting to get a little bare, we can just put it up there for now. So now we should be able to read this one fairly soon, which will give us more lessons on door and wall, which is currently at level 3. So let's see. Transformations and Liberations gives us both Forge and Moth. It's currently at level 5, so we would need 5 Forge and or Moth memories. We have 1 from the occult scrap. So let's start reading for those. Excuse me. We can do Forge 1. Forge 2. Moth 3. Ambrosial gets us Moth 4. And we need 1 more. We can do pattern. Whoop. Not the right one I meant to grab. Pattern gets us Forge 5. There's Mademoiselle Limp. My visitor can teach me the rudiments of this lively language, Remsund. Even after tutoring you, the visitor will leave, even if they arrived on other business. Roast marinated beef. But since we have learned from all vaporing friends to eat their ragout as well as to dance, we're fed up with nothing but vain complaisance. Oh, the roast beef of Old England, and Old English roast beef. Henry Fielding, The Grub Street Opera. Forge, Grail, 2 heart, 2 scale, and edge. Quite a feast there. And it is a main course and sustenance. The bad live that they may eat and drink, the good eat and drink that they may live. Socrates. So we can put this onto our storage table for now. And we also have some drippings that were made. Not an appetizing name, but use it to make rich leek or onion soup. Or with or without a knife, use dripping to exalt potatoes to their full potential. So we'll put this into the kitchen, into our pantry here. And with that, our day is done. Going to lose that memory of foresight, but that's okay because we have another one coming. And with that, I think we will go ahead and call it a day. We've managed to get some cooking done. We've read 2 heavy books. And we have an enduring reflection that we've created. So it went from Knock Moth Rose to being Heart Knock Rose. Refine what is, recall what remains. With Keeper level Rose, an enduring reflection can give rise to visions of wilder possibilities. So 7, 10, 11, 12. We would still need to find 3 more points of Rose from somewhere to get that to Keeper. But that will be a task for another day. We are going to call it a day here. Thank you for joining me. If you've been enjoying what you've been watching, please leave a like or a comment down below. If you'd like to see more of these and continue the story, then please subscribe. And I will see everybody tomorrow.